We all carry stones, some heavier than others, but all of them sharp in their own way. The words we wish we had not spoken, the choices we wish we had not made, the silences that echo louder than any scream. And so we drag the past behind us, as if it were a sack filled with rocks. We try to move forward, but each memory pulls us back. Each regret whispers, "You should have known better." But how could you? At that moment, with the awareness you had, with the clarity or confusion available to you then, you were doing your best. Alan Watts once said, "To condemn yourself for the past is like scolding a child for not knowing calculus. You learn by fumbling. You grow by falling. That is the only way life teaches." So, forgiveness does not begin with forgetting the past, nor with pretending it never happened. It begins here, with a simple recognition. You were always doing your best with the awareness you had. Feel how even these words soften the weight you carry. The mind loves to replay the past. It rewinds scenes like old film reels, watching them again and again, as if repetition could somehow change the ending. But the past is finished. What remains is only an echo carried in memory. And yet, most of us keep punishing ourselves for choices long gone. We replay a single sentence spoken in anger. We relive a mistake that happened years ago. We hold on to them as if they were evidence in a trial where we are both judge and prisoner. But guilt is not justice. Guilt is dead weight. It is the refusal to accept that the one who made those mistakes no longer exists. Look carefully. You're not the same person who stumbled years ago. That version of you was less aware, less awake, less capable of seeing what you see now. So, why continue to condemn a ghost? Alan Watts reminded us that life is a dance of trial and error. We learn by touching the fire, by falling into confusion, by making choices that later seem foolish. But from within those very mistakes, awareness blooms. The pain of yesterday shaped the clarity of today. Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall, they bruise, they cry. No parent scolds the child for stumbling. The falling is the teaching. The bruise is part of the lesson. Why then do you scold yourself for the stumbles of your own past? The strange thing about guilt is that it pretends to be noble. It whispers, "If I suffer enough for what I did, I am somehow redeeming it." But suffering does not heal the past. It only prolongs it. It chains you to a story that no longer serves you. True learning is alive. It opens the way forward. But self-condemnation is a tomb. It keeps you bound to an old identity that has already dissolved. Think of it this way. Holding on to guilt is like gripping a burning coal. You believe the fire will leap across and punish someone else, but it only burns your own hand. How long will you keep holding it? Another way to see it. Guilt is like standing at the edge of a river, clutching heavy stones. You could drop them into the water and watch the current carry them away. But instead, you keep dragging them with you, step after step, believing they are part of who you are. The truth is, they are not. They are moments already dissolved in the flow of time. The river never clings to what it has carried. Why should you? And if you look even deeper, you may see this. To carry guilt is to live in a mirror that only reflects who you once were. You keep staring into the reflection of an old self, forgetting that the one standing here now is someone else entirely. Would you condemn your reflection in the mirror for not moving? Or would you finally turn around and step into the living world. Feel this in your body. Think for a moment. What would happen if you stopped carrying that sack of stones? If you simply laid it down and walked on? Would the past vanish? No. But you would no longer drag it into every step of your present. So let me ask you gently, what is the heaviest stone you are still carrying? And who would you be without it? Let the question rest in your mind. You've seen how guilt weighs on the heart. Now, let us feel together what it means to release it. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a slow breath in and let it out gently. Now, imagine yourself standing beside a quiet river. The water flows steadily, never stopping, never holding on. It accepts everything, and it carries everything away. In your hands, you hold a small leaf. This leaf represents one memory, one regret, one heavy thought you have carried for too long. Perhaps it is a word you wish you had not spoken. Perhaps it is a choice you still judge yourself for. See it clearly. Feel its presence in your hand. And now, when you are ready, place the leaf on the surface of the water. Watch as the current takes it gently, without struggle, without resistance. It drifts away, smaller and smaller, until it disappears from sight. Notice how the river does not cling. It does not argue. It does not ask if the leaf deserves to be carried away. It simply flows. Take another breath, and with your exhale, imagine placing another leaf on the water, another regret, another memory. Let it float away. One by one, allow the river to take them until your hands are empty, until your heart feels lighter. This is forgiveness in practice, not erasing the past, but allowing life to carry it, the way a river carries all things. Rest in this sense of release. Forgiveness, you see, is not something abstract. It is not a ritual reserved for saints or sages. It is as ordinary as the breath you just took, and it appears in the quiet corners of daily life. Perhaps you carry the weight of words spoken in anger to someone you loved. You replay them at night, wishing you could rewrite the moment. But look closely. Those words came from the limits of who you were then. You cannot punish the present self for the blindness of the past. Or maybe your guilt comes from years of drowning in habits that numbed your pain. Alcohol, distractions, endless striving. You see now how it hurt not only you, but those around you. And yet, even in that fog, you were searching for relief in the only way you knew. Now you see more clearly. That clarity itself is the proof that you are no longer that person. Some carry the heaviest stones of all, the weight of not being there when someone they loved passed away, the regret of silence that can never be undone. But what is left to do except bow to the truth that life is fragile, and awareness comes only in its own time? Would you condemn the younger self who could not yet see? Or would you hold them with the same compassion you would offer to a child who simply did not know? And guilt is not only personal, it lives in families too. Parents pass it to children, children to their own children. Unspoken regrets become invisible walls between generations. But every chain has a breaking point. Forgiveness is the place where the chain snaps, where pain stops multiplying and something new begins. Think also of the world we live in today. How quickly judgment spreads online. How easily a single mistake is magnified, repeated, condemned by strangers who know nothing of the heart behind it. It costs nothing to judge. But to understand, that requires courage. That requires stillness. And in that stillness, empathy becomes possible. The world tells us that to be strong is to keep pushing, to keep accumulating, to keep punishing ourselves into becoming better. But strength is not punishment. Strength is the gentleness that allows you to release what no longer belongs to you. Strength is the courage to look at yourself honestly and say, yes, I stumbled, but I learned, and I will not chain myself to the stumble forever. And what is true for yourself is also true for others. When someone speaks with bitterness, when they act in ways that wound you, they are not acting from infinite freedom. They are acting from their own limits, from the conditions of their lives, from wounds you may never see. To condemn them endlessly is to forget that they are already carrying their own sack of stones. Forgiveness, then, is not indulgence. It is not weakness. It is clarity. It is the refusal to add more weight to what is already unbearable. So, when you feel resentment rise, try asking yourself, what pain gave birth to this action? What blindness shaped this choice? And when you see it, even if you must walk away, you can leave without hatred in your heart. This is what it means to forgive in the modern world. Not to excuse, not to forget, but to stop dragging the fire of resentment through your own mind. Because resentment burns only the one who holds it. It is like carrying fire in your chest, thinking it will harm the other, when all along it is your own spirit that is consumed. So ask yourself, whose fire are you still carrying? And what would it feel like to finally let it go? Feel how your own body responds to this truth. As we said at the beginning, Alan Watts reminded us, to condemn yourself for the past is like scolding a child for not knowing calculus. Perhaps when you first heard these words, they sounded like a clever metaphor. But now, after this journey, maybe you feel their weight more deeply. The child was never guilty. The child was only learning. And so were you. You were never guilty of not knowing. You were only unfolding. You were stumbling your way into awareness, just as every human being does. The one who stumbled is gone. The one who learned is here now. And that is enough. So, forgive yourself. Forgive the world. Not because it is noble, not because it is moral, but because it is the only way life keeps flowing. Forgiveness is not erasing the past. It is not closing your eyes. It is opening them so fully that you see there was never anyone to condemn. Only life, clumsy and beautiful, teaching itself how to walk. Let this truth echo in the silence. And if these words touched something in you, take a moment to share your reflection below. Your story may be the stone someone else is ready to set down. Until we meet again, walk lightly, breathe gently, and above all, be kind to yourself. Stay here for a moment longer, without words, without stories, just the quiet flow of life moving through you.